The Galactic Federation was in chaos. The Zyn'thari Empire, one of the most powerful factions in the galaxy, had been thrown into disarray after an assassination attempt on their Queen Zara'el. The poison was swift, insidious, and nearly undetectable, until it was too late. The Queen had collapsed during a diplomatic summit, her luminous violet skin fading to a sickly gray as her attendants scrambled to save her. Enter Corporal Jaxon Reed, a human guard assigned to the summit as part of the Federation's interspecies cooperation initiative. Humans were still newcomers to the galactic stage, often underestimated for their lack of advanced technology or psychic abilities. But Jaxon had one thing most species didn't: an uncanny resistance to toxins. When the Queen fell, Jaxon didn't hesitate. He pushed through the panicked crowd, his training kicking in. He recognized the symptoms: rapid organ failure, neural shutdown, and realized the poison was similar to a compound used in ancient Earth warfare. Without thinking, he grabbed the Queen's frail form and injected her with a dose of his own blood, rich with antibodies that could neutralize the toxin. The room fell silent as Zara'el's color returned, her breathing steadying. Her attendants stared at Jaxon in awe, their antennae twitching with disbelief. The Queen's eyes fluttered open, and she locked gazes with the human who had saved her life. "You," she whispered, her voice a melodic hum that resonated in Jackson's mind. "You are different." Jaxon shrugged, his rugged face breaking into a grin. "Just doing my job, Your Majesty." But Zara'el's next move would send shockwaves across the galaxy. 3 days later, the Zyn'thari Empire announced an unprecedented decision. Queen Zara'el had chosen Jaxon Reed as her personal bodyguard and advisor. The news was met with outrage and disbelief. A human, serving in the inner court of the Zyn'thari. It was unthinkable. The Zyn'thari were a proud and ancient species, their hierarchy rigid and unchanging. Yet the Queen's word was law, and no one dared challenge her directly. Jaxon, however, was less than thrilled. He had signed up for guard duty, not politics. But the Queen was insistent. "You saved my life, Jaxon Reed," she said during their first private meeting. Her chambers were a marvel of bioluminescent architecture, the walls pulsing with soft light. "You possess a strength my people lack. I need you by my side." "With all due respect, Your Majesty," Jaxon replied, "I'm just a soldier. I don't know the first thing about advising an alien queen." Zara'el smiled, a gesture that sent a shiver down his spine. "You underestimate yourself. Your species' resilience, your adaptability. It is precisely what the Zyn'thari need. The galaxy is changing, Jaxon. Old alliances are crumbling, and new threats emerge every cycle. I trust you to help me navigate this." Jaxon sighed, realizing there was no way out. "All right. But if I mess this up, don't say I didn't warn you." The conspiracy deepens. As Jaxon settled into his new role, he began to uncover the truth behind the assassination attempt. The poison had been administered by a member of the Queen's own court, a high-ranking official named Valor. But Valor was just a pawn in a larger game. The real mastermind was the Krylos Dominion, a rival faction seeking to destabilize the Zyn'thari Empire. Jaxon presented his findings to Zara'el, who listened intently. "The Krylos have always envied our power," she said, her voice tinged with anger. "But this is an act of war." "We need proof," Jaxon said. "Without it, the Federation won't intervene." Zara'el's eyes gleamed with determination. "Then we shall get proof." The Queen's gambit. What followed was a daring plan that would cement Jaxon's place in galactic history. Zara'el announced a grand diplomatic gala, inviting representatives from every major faction, including the Krylos Dominion. The event was a spectacle of light and sound, a display of Zyn'thari culture at its finest. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Jaxon, dressed in a ceremonial uniform that felt far too tight, kept a close eye on the Krylos delegation. He noticed their leader, Ambassador Krelnay, exchanging furtive glances with Valor. It was all the confirmation he needed. As the gala reached its peak, Zara'el took the stage. Her presence commanded silence, the room holding its breath as she spoke. "Honored guests," she began, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We gather here in a time of great uncertainty. But let it be known that the Zyn'thari Empire will not falter. We will not be swayed by treachery or deceit." Her gaze fell on Krelnay, who shifted uncomfortably. "To those who seek to undermine us, know this: your actions will not go unpunished." With a wave of her hand, the room's holographic displays lit up, revealing incriminating communications between the Krylos Dominion and Valor. The evidence was damning, and the room erupted into chaos. Krelnay tried to flee, but Jaxon was already moving. He tackled the ambassador to the ground, pinning him with ease. "Nice try," Jaxon muttered. "But you're not going anywhere." The aftermath. The Krylos Dominion was exposed, their reputation in tatters. The Galactic Federation imposed heavy sanctions, and the Zyn'thari Empire emerged stronger than ever. As for Valor, he was stripped of his title and exiled to a remote penal colony. But the biggest shock came when Zara'el made her next move. At a press conference attended by billions across the galaxy, the Queen announced a new alliance, one between the Zyn'thari Empire and humanity. "The courage and resilience of Jaxon Reed have shown me the true potential of your species," she declared. "Together, we shall forge a future of peace and prosperity." The galaxy was stunned. Humans, once seen as insignificant, were now at the forefront of galactic politics. Jaxon, standing beside the Queen, couldn't help but smile. He had started as a simple guard, but now he was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the smallest actions could change the course of history. Epilogue. Years later, Jaxon Reed would retire from his post, his name etched in the annals of galactic history. But his legacy lived on. The alliance between humans and the Zyn'thari flourished, paving the way for a new era of cooperation. As for Queen Zara'el, she never forgot the human who had saved her life. In her final address to the Empire, she said, "Strength comes not from power or technology, but from the bonds we forge. Jaxon Reed taught me that. And for that, I am eternally grateful." The galaxy watched in awe as the Zyn'thari Queen bowed her head, a gesture of respect reserved for equals. And in that moment, humanity knew they had truly arrived.